Hi, Charat.
Hi Naved.
Charat, thank you so much, for welcoming me and my team to Indian Terrain store, and it is virtually that we are visiting with you. I so wish I could have done it physically, but challenging times, Charat. But thank you so much, for taking us through the store and giving your valuable time discussing about what we are about to discuss.
Pleasure as always, Naved, and it has been great to catch up. But like you said, the pandemic has really changed all our lives. But I also feel that this is such an important time to be talking to all our viewers and listeners and consumers about sustainable future, because this pandemic, if there's one thing that it is going to teach us through, is the need for a sustainable future, and that's really where I think what we're going to talk about today becomes such an important thing.
For all the viewers, Charat, I will just take a introduction time to the viewers. Viewers, all of you who are watching this, to tell you what's happening here is we have CEO of Indian Terrain, Mr. Charat Narasimhan, with us, welcoming us at the store of Indian Terrain. I mean, where have you ever noticed such such approachability in the entire functioning, in the entire ethos of a brand, where CEO himself is at the store talking to us and taking us on a virtual tour. So I think that it draws a lot on the brand as well, and the brand draws a lot from it as well. And Charat, coming back, we've just witnessed an incredible global campaign called Fashion Revolution, where
Yes.
asking fashion brand to be more transparent and to be more accountable.
Yeah.
While most of the brand, it's really tough to get that kind of a transparency and accountability. And here you are
Yeah.
talking to us from the store, to us and to your consumers. What makes
Yeah.
Indian Terrain so approachable?
Well, Navid, it's actually there, right there in the fundamental ethos of what we always say about Indian Terrain, which is, every day we come to make clothes that make our customers feel good. A lot of fashion and a lot of talk is about clothes that make you look good. But what is it that really makes you feel good is the most important thing. And one of the most important things that I see, into the future, and something we started off some time back, is about making clothes that are not just good looking, that's good for you as a consumer, which makes you feel good as a person when you wear it. And so a very important element of that is whether your products are sustainable, whether they are doing good rather than just looking good. And that's a belief that we've always had as a brand right from day one. And a lot of our ethos and our values are driven by that. And this whole association that we embarked upon with Fairtrade is in many ways the first but the most important milestone in that journey.
Indian Terrain is the first high street brand to obtain a Fairtrade label.
Correct.
What I mean, while you said some of them, but what were the prime reasons for that motivated you to make this commitment to the Fairtrade movement, Charat?
It's interesting because there's a lot of talk which has happened globally about using organic cottons or better made cottons or so many such things, right? Recycled polyesters. There's a whole bunch of people that are looking to use or reuse material, recycle, reuse. Well, that's been in vogue for a while. But one of the most important things about the textile and the garment value chain is everybody across the chain getting a fair deal? Is the trade fair? Is the grower of the cotton getting a fair remuneration for his or her efforts? Is the person who is making the clothes getting a fair remuneration? Because this industry, as you know, Navid, globally has been much maligned for fast fashion, cheap fashion, use and throw, and so many other things, right? And which over the years has led to a in many ways exploitation, if I could use, of both natural resources and human resources.
Right.
And really, that to me is where the word fair trade comes in, right?
Yeah.
Where most important of all is to ensure that yes, we need to use these resources, but we need to do it in a fair manner, in a manner that is just to everybody in the chain. And that really is where fair trade comes in, and that's why it was very important for us to partner with somebody who has the same belief, right? And,
right.
When we got talking with Abhishek and the whole team at Fairtrade, we really knew that this is what we want to kind of embark upon, and that's why this association means a lot to us.
But Sharat, I mean, a brand of your scale, committing to something this big, it's a huge responsibility. I mean, it's a huge responsibility, to the farmers, that are associated, to the workers that happen. And what I know that is that you have committed 50% of your turnover to the fair trade cause, and
yes.
that's a mammoth, commitment, Sharat. And I would say it's a huge responsibility as well in a way. Not only to to the farmers who have worked on it, who have grown these clothes, not only the workers who are making these clothes, but to their families as well. So it's a, don't you think it's a huge responsibility, Charan?
It is. But if someone's got to take the big steps, right? In the sense that, of course, it's a big responsibility. We do recognize that. But I believe very strongly that it's important that brands such as ours, and larger brands globally as well as in this country over the period of time, need to get into this in a much more stronger way, right, a much larger scale. Because what is important is to understand that this value chain will only sustain over time if we all ensure that there is a fair livelihood to everybody in the chain. We are one of the lucky companies and the lucky brands, Navid, which has had its own manufacturing. The global textile value chain has just pretty much become so, global. As you know, it's kind of designed somewhere, manufactured somewhere, shipped from somewhere, sell from somewhere. That's the kind of business that we're all in.
Right.
And so in these times, we are unique in that we have our own factory. We've been having this for 30 years. We've been making for some of the largest labels globally. And we've been lucky, privileged that many of them have also been pioneers in this whole sustainable movement, organic movement, and one of the first people who've done that. And so we have learned a lot from them. And so I know that our factories and our workers, what gives them the most joy every day is not the fact that they are making and sewing clothes or making clothes for Indian terrain, but the fact that they are doing it amongst one of the few factories which can stand up and say, we're doing it fair, we're doing it in the right way. And that is really what makes us a little different from so many others. That's one of the things that I feel will make Indian terrain different from the rest of the pack. But in terms of responsibility, yes, it's an onerous one. I've put out a commitment that we will move towards more than half of our products being through sustainable sources. Fairtrade is the first of them and could be probably the largest of them. But we have taken our journey in many different areas to use sustainability. For us, sustainability is not just about fair trade. It's about reuse, recycle, ensure that reduce our plastic consumption, and so many other things. In fact, on another thing, the store that you walked in and saw, my TTK Road Star store in Chennai, which is a flagship store, and where I am coming to you from now. One of the things that we're starting to work on is to see whether we can use sustainable material in our stores. So we have 220 stores across India, and we will probably open a few more in the next 2-3 years. But one of the things that we're starting to look at is to say, can we use sustainable sources or sustainable material in the store's design? So we're not leaving it just as product that you can wear and look good in, but we're also trying to take it to the store from where you purchase it.
Yeah, 50% from a sustainable source is a very important point there, Sharat.
Yes, yes.
And I can tell you one thing, Sharat. You mentioned the point that you have your own manufacturing unit, and you've been lucky there. But I would actually counter that point and say that it's actually not about luck. It's about the vision that was set, to have something as it makes you really ready for any kind of commitment that you do. Anyways,
Very true.
the fashion revolution as a commitment is a huge one. It'll take one step at a time to reach to the point that we actually want to reach. I mean, the world wants to reach, and little or bigger steps like yours will
Yeah.
help in that cause as well. So I think owning a manufacturing place as well is a part of the vision, and it makes you much more ready, to take up such cause. But I would say, it all starts from a step, and I think it probably we have given you confidence to take this step. But I think it is one step at a time, and like your commitment, I think many brands will look at it and say that why not us as well, and we could probably move to much fairly traded world, to say that way.
That will be fantastic, because I just think all of us need to do our part, and I'm proud and I feel very good about the fact that as a brand, Indian Terrain is one of the pioneers in this step. But true change, like you rightly said, and the revolution that we're all trying to make will happen only when everybody joins in and it becomes a really large cause.
This is a fashion revolution, Sharat, and you're kind of pioneering that in a high street brand. And thank you so
Yes,
much for that.
yes.
And I also have to ask off guard, saying that you are looking dapper there, and I've been told I am looking dapper as well.
Yes.
And I have to thank Indian Terrain and you for that as well. And this is the exact collection, that is fairly traded. I feel immensely proud
Yes.
to be in it, and it gives me immense confidence as well, because a lot of people have complimented me already. So it's a revolution. It's also making people look good. And I've heard that this time in spring summer 21, there's a fabulous shirt collection, which I was wanting
Yes.
to really see had I been physically at store. But
Yes.
would you tell us about the shirt collection of spring summer 21 that has hit the store, which has the Fairtrade label on it?
The challenge to make you look better, looking good than that what you already are, naturally smart looking person. But I just think that the new collection is looking so much nicer on you too. So thank you for having carried it. What I am wearing as well, what you can see is also part of our spring summer 21 collection, which is for the Fairtrade range, made through, like you know already, Naved, from the cotton sources which are right at the heart in Gujarat, and you met some of them already. So we have almost 10 shirts in this collection. Let me just show you some of these shirts, and some of
Wonderful.
the other t-shirts which are also part of the collection. What we have done is, we've used the natural colors of this country. So most of the collection is in classic whites, the bright orange or the rust that I'm wearing today. We have a nice interesting silhouette. In fact, the shirt that you're wearing is part of a new silhouette that you've introduced, which is the, as we call it, the Nehruvian collar shirts, which is a very trendy new silhouette that everyone's wearing today in India, right? In the casual form. Everyone's wearing it already, and we have been wearing it for a while in ethnic, but it's now becoming mainstream. So that's something that you see as part of this new collection. So it's not only just great new fabrics, but it's also nice trendy silhouettes, and that's really what I think makes this mix, which is just sustainable and the fashion bit come together, and that's what makes the Fairtrade collection that much more interesting. So let me just show you a few of them. I think this is the one you're wearing, as you can see. This is the one you're wearing right now,
Right.
which is a nice bright stripe. There's the one which I'm wearing. There's a couple of others which are nice printed shirts made out of this Fairtrade cotton. We also have a few t-shirts. We also have one range for the boys as well. You do know that we have a large range of boys, and which is catching on fast, and we have a whole collection for boys as well, which is made out of Fairtrade. So we have this whole range which is being made out of Fairtrade, which is t-shirts, which is shirts, as you can see, which is for boys, and it's for men. So This is just the tip. We have just about 10-12 shirts in the collection and about 10 t-shirts in the collection for men and about 10 for boys, similarly for t-shirts and shirts.
It looks fabulous.
It's a large collection. It looks bright, it's cheerful, it looks good, it wears good, and it does good.
Yeah, it really feels good as well to wear it as well. So I will ask my team to actually go closer to the shirt and show the label people should look out for when they actually
this
buy.
is correct. This is the look. This is the label. This is the label that we should look out for, which is the Indian Terrain Fairtrade Cotton Collection. And you know, you can also get more information on what both of us are doing on Fairtrade through both indianterrain.com as well as fairtrade.net.
So really love the definition
Very
of,
true.
Of the shirt that you have given as well, and I think fashion brands should start using this definition more often. Not to bash any country, but it is.
It is true.
So,
very true. It is very true.
I had I had gone to the store
Right.
at Bangalore in Indiranagar Fairtrade Road, and I had seen the incredible t-shirt collection, and I still don it. I mean, I kind of wear it a lot of time. Even my son, he's going to be 7-year-old now. He's 6.5 now, and yeah, he picked up some collection from the store as well, and he's loving it, and he likes to show it off to a lot of kids. He in turn is a revolutionary as well, who actually goes and talks saying that see, there's no CO2, see, this is how the environment is, and I think raising revolutionaries also is a big and great point as well. I think it's like we were discussing, it starts the steps, and when people see good things being done, they kind of pick up. His friends asked him, where did he pick up from? I don't know if they went and picked it up, but at least the conversation began, and that's what's happening right here, right now as well. And conversation, remembering conversation, I discussed, I had a conversation with the farmers from Surendranagar, and these are the guys who actually grew the cotton that was used on the t-shirt. And they were extremely excited to see their collection, and their names were Jasuben, Ishwari Bai, and Dima Bai, and Kiran Bai, the assistant manager, who actually was there as well. And they were so excited, Sharat. I mean, I was at a point extremely emotional talking to them as well, that they were so proud to see their collection, their grown cotton as a part of the fashion collection.
Right.
Somebody who's wearing it proudly and showing it to them and thanking them, and it was an endearing moment, for both of us on the other east side, so it indeed is a great moment. But now it comes to the guys who have grown it. I mean, they feel extremely proud, and thank you to Indian Terrain to bring that pride to them.
And one of the things that we really take pride on is that large part of our workforce is women, who take tremendous pride in what they do, right? And when they've been making terrain clothes for such a long time, they've been making it for other brands as well. The pride that they take in making what they do is just immense, and it's such a joy to see. But most often than not, they also sometimes end up making it for faceless neighbors. They don't know where is the effort that they are putting in going. So when they see that the efforts that they are making, the garments that they are stitching with such love and care, comes up in our flagship store where I am sitting here, or other stores that we have across the country, and some of them have a chance to see it once in a while when they go to stores, they go to our outlet stores, which is closer to the factory, and I've seen that they get so thrilled to see and so excited to see what is the product and what is the final output of what they are making. Otherwise, when it lands on their table, it's a piece of fabric, right? It's just a piece of fabric which has come. But when it gets converted from their hands, it moves into a living form. It moves into a shirt. It moves into a t-shirt, in this case. And that's really when the magic happens, when you see that product converted and they see it. So just as much as the farmers get excited to see that their product is ending up in a store, and it gives them great pleasure to see that, and immense joy and pride, our workers take pride every day when they see the output of what they're making landing up in the stores. And one of the things about a brand is that we have the ability to go back, we have the ability to share it with our people, we have the ability to tell them that, listen, what you're making is not just a faceless piece, it's something that is live and alive and kicking, and it is there in stores across the country, it is there in our own stores, it is there in departmental stores, and when the very fact that they do it does so much more to them.
Yeah, Charat. I mean, very honestly, on the other side of the on the coin, even from a a consumer point of view, I mean, there are invisible faces behind a single shirt that I'm wearing right now, and there has been absolutely no transparency on who makes it, and when you actually see the farmer who's actually grown it, when you actually see the worker who's actually got the fashion, got the shirt stitched, or got the shirt in the form that it is now, it is also a very very what I would say enlightening moment. To some it would actually be a very emotional moment as well, and bringing that kind of transparency and accountability is I think applaudable. Is the way the entire revolution is happening is something that consumers, the customers, the guys who actually come to the store, nobody knew. Very honestly, I don't know if it's for the interest of the brand to keep it undisclosed, or what may be the reason, but the consumers never thought of who made their clothes, and where is it grown. Never thought of that. It didn't occur to them at all. But with this conversation, one person at a time, I think the conversation would begin, and there will be far more accountability in the system, which I think would happen, and it has happened to me. I mean, very honestly, I last year is something that I kind of stumbled on, the revolution, the Fairtrade and fashion revolution and Indian terrain collection, and that's when I started questioning a lot of things that is happening around me, and I think this would also happen to the other consumers as well. So thank you for that, Charat, and thank you to Fairtrade as well for that.
Yeah, not at all. Pleasure. I mean, let me say this, Navid, that responsible consumption, which is one of the main UN goals that everyone's driving, and that's where really this partnership is about. It has two fast sides to the coin, right? Manufacturers or brands, many of them don't end up sharing this because they don't think it's necessary, or there aren't enough consumers who are showing interest, and vice versa. Many consumers thus far have not been so keen to know anything about it because they've just been focused upon the look good part, that they really don't care where it came from, how is it made, so on and so forth. But change is coming, and change is coming really fast. Like many things, Indians, when they pick up to an idea, they move at rapid speed. Okay, so I think this I sense this is happening. In many ways, the pandemic is only making it. Consumers are really moving fast to know. They just don't want to look good, or if it comes to food, just to eat the nice stuff. But they also want to know, where is it coming from? How is it being grown? Is it something that is doing good while it is looking good on me? And that change, when it is driven by consumers, will quickly become like a revolution and spread like wildfire. But it's important equally for brands to recognize the fact that they also have to live up to it from their end. And that's really where we step in, where we as a brand have taken this direction that we want to make sustainable fashion. We owe it to our consumers, we owe it to the planet in which we live in. And with a name like Indian Terrain, which has two facets, Indian, and very few people have the courage to put their country in their brand, and Terrain, which is which says what it is. I think we not only will live up to the name, but we will also end up espousing this to as many people as we can.
Yeah, Charat, I mean, very inspirational that is. And to be on the consumer side, I will tell you that the fashion is absolutely not compromised. It is such a fashionable collection, and given a choice to any consumer, there's a shirt, same shirt is there, and one is fairly traded, and one there's no clue about what has happened. trust me, 100 out of 100 customer would actually pick this up, and because this is absolutely fashionable, and they know when they buy something like this, it means that there's fair amount of contribution that is going to the people who actually deserve it as well.